Hi everyone, I'm Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Government College of Engineering, Vodinayagnur. The aim of this presentation is to present on parts of speech to Anna University 2017 regulation first semester students. Parts of speech. Every word in English language belongs to a particular family, group, or category. These group category are named parts of speech. There are 8 parts of speeches in English: noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Noun. Noun is a word that refers to a person, place, or thing. Every noun has its own unique number, gender, and kind. Number. In English grammar, number refers to singular and plural. Singular means one, plural means more than one. Singular, one apple, one crow, it refers to only one number. Plural. In many languages, plural means two or more than two. But in English, one plus a fraction is also considered as plural. For example, 1.5 years. We never say 1.5 year. If we say, that is incorrect. Gender. There are four kinds of genders. First one is masculine gender, second one is feminine gender, third one is common gender, and the last one is neuter gender. Okay, masculine denotes male, for example, boy, man, brother, etc. Feminine gender refers to female, for example, girl, woman, sister, etc. Common gender denotes both male and female, for example, student, teacher, and doctor, etc. Neuter gender denotes neither male nor female, for example, gold, rice, river, table, etc. Kinds of nouns. There are 5 kinds of nouns: proper noun, common noun, collective noun, material noun, and abstract noun. Proper noun um, is the name of a person, place, or things. Okay, uh, they are unique. We cannot use that name to any other person or any other place or any other things. They are called proper noun. For example, Raja, Roja, uh, Madurai, Taj Mahal, etc. Common noun. Common noun refers to any or every person or thing of the same kind or class, and not to a particular person or thing. For example, man, teacher, dog, girl, boy, etc. Collective noun. Collective noun is the name of a collection of people or a group of people or things of the same kind. For example, army, family, team, government, etc. And then material noun. Material noun is the name of a material or substance. They can be articles of food or drink as well. For example, steel, gold, milk, water, etc. And then abstract noun. Abstract noun is the name of a quality, state, or concept. Okay. Abstract nouns are the names of qualities found in various kinds of objects. Since they have no material form, they cannot be seen or touched. We can know them only through our senses. For example, honesty and goodness. We cannot see or we cannot touch the honesty. So, this is an abstract state. Pronoun. Um, pro means for or acting as. A pronoun is used as a substitute for a noun or noun phrase. Pronoun is a word used in place of a noun. Instead of repeating the same noun a second time, we can use pronoun in its place. These are some of the kinds of pronouns: subject pronoun, object pronoun, possessive adjectives, possessive pronoun, and reflexive pronoun. You can use this table for your understanding. Pronoun has all the characteristics of a noun. So, like a noun, a pronoun can also function as a subject object complement in a sentence. Pronoun is used to avoid the repetition of nouns or noun phrase in a sentence. Look at these two sentences. The first sentence, we never say like this, or we never write a sentence like this, because the word Suresh is repeated in this sentence. Suresh went to the market because Suresh wanted to buy a pen. If we use or if we construct a sentence like this, it may look awkward. So we never construct a sentence like this. The correct sentence would be, Suresh went to the market because he wanted to buy a pen. So the word Suresh is replaced by the pronoun he. This is the correct one. Adjective. Adjective is a word that describes, modifies, beautifies, or qualifies a noun. Adjective is a word that says something more about a noun. Um, Adjective in English are not affected by number or gender because they don't have to agree with the noun they modify. There are five kinds of adjectives: adjectives of quality, proper adjectives, intensifying adjectives, participle adjectives, noun as adjectives. First one is adjectives of quality. They describe the shape, size, or color of a person or thing. For example, a black man, a white wall. Okay, they qualify or they describe the size or color of a person or thing. Then proper adjectives. These are formed from proper nouns, particularly from the names of geographical places, continents, countries, and states. Adjective like these describe the origin or source. For example, Indian goods, American scientists, Japanese toys. And next one is intensifying adjectives. Uh, Mere, sheer, utter, quite, very are the examples of intensifying adjectives. These intensifying adjectives heighten or reduce the effect of noun they modify. For example, uh, listen, it is nonsense. It is nonsense. When we hear the sentence, we conceive an understanding. We conceive an understanding. When we add a word, when we add an adjective with this sentence, we will get a different meaning. For example, it's sheer nonsense. Okay, so the word sheer intensifies the meaning of the sentence. That's why they are called intensifying adjectives. Uh, Participle adjectives. Participle means present participle and a past participle. Present participle is verb plus ing. Past participle means the third form of the noun. Okay. Here the present participle running qualifies the noun train. So here the running is acting like an adjective, and the word written is also qualifies the noun answer. So here the word written is functioning like an adjective, and noun as adjective. Gold ring, stone wall. In this construction, a noun is functioning as a modifier to another noun describing the quality or material. Okay, so a noun can also function as an adjective. Verb. Verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates an action or a state of being or a condition. A verb is the part of sentence that tells us what the subject performs. Verbs are the heart of English sentences. Okay, look at the sentences. Mick is going to school. Peter is a good boy. Okay, when we remove the verbs from these sentences, we cannot get a complete meaning. So the verb is the most important part of a sentence. It is obligatory even in the shortest sentences. These are the basic forms of verbs. The base form, that is the present tense or the present form, and then the past form, the second form of the verb, and the past participle, the third form of the verb. Infinitive, to plus verb, this is the fourth form of the verb, and then gerund, verb plus ing. So these the base, present, past, past participle, infinitive, gerund are the basic forms of verbs. And then types of verbs: finite verb, non-finite verb, auxiliary verb and modal verb. Finite verb are actually the main verbs or the root verbs. Okay, the finite verb is the one that has tense and it has to agree with its subject in person and a number. So it changes its form according to the person and number. Whereas the non-finite verb are not actually verbs. Okay, they are acting like noun, adjective, and adverbs in a sentence. And the because then the non-finite verbs do not change according to the number, person of the subject. Okay, the non-finite verbs forms are infinitive, gerund, and participles. Auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are otherwise called helping verbs. They extend their help to the main verb to show the time, tense, and possibility. And auxiliaries are also used to show whether an action is complete, habitual, or continuous. And it is used in negation, interrogatives, and emphatic sentences. The auxiliaries are also used in short answers to avoid the tedious repetition of words. Modal auxiliaries. Modal auxiliaries, there are 9 modal auxiliaries: will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, and must. There are 9 modal auxiliaries and there are 4 semi-modals. And these modal and semi-modals are used with a verb to express an idea such as possibility, potentiality, ability, permission, expectation, and obligation. Uh, so some these things, these possibility, potentiality, which are not expressed by the main verb, but these possibility and potentiality, ability, permission, expectation can be expressed only with the help of the modal auxiliaries. So this is part 1. Thank you. We will see in the next part.